HTMX killed React. That take is everywhere right now, and it is almost completely wrong. Almost. Because buried under the hype is a real story, with real numbers that should make you a little uncomfortable. So here is the honest verdict up front. HTMX did not kill React. But for a giant class of apps, you have been wildly overbuilding, and today I can prove it. And if your first thought is, isn't HTMX just jQuery with a new haircut? I get it. That was my thought too. Hold on to it. Because one real company tore out 2 full years of React, replaced it with HTMX, and wrote down every number. Those are the receipts. But first, plainly, what is HTMX? It is one extra attribute you add to an ordinary HTML tag. You put hx_get=messages on a button. A user clicks it, your server sends back a chunk of HTML, and HTMX drops that chunk into the page. That is the whole trick. No build step, no node_modules folder eating your disk. One script tag, about 14 kilobytes, working in any browser. React makes the opposite bet. You build the interface out of JavaScript components, and a virtual DOM keeps the screen in sync with your data. Two opposite ideas about where your app should live. So let's put them on trial. What each one is, the receipts, and the real verdict. Start with the mental model, because it is the whole thing. HTMX calls it HTML over the wire. Your server already knows how to render pages. HTMX just asks it for one slice of a page and swaps that slice into place, and there's barely anything to learn. 4 attributes carry the entire library. hxGet and hxPost send the request. hxTarget picks where the answer lands, and hxSwap decides how it gets inserted. Watch a live search. You type into a box, HTMX fires a request on each keystroke. The server returns finished table rows, and they slide straight into the results. No JSON, no rendering library, nothing to wire up. And the response is not data, it is the actual HTML. The server sends back the exact rows it wants shown, already styled. The browser never assembles anything from a payload, it just drops the markup in. Now notice what is missing. No client-side store to manage, no API schema to keep in sync with the UI, no serializing and rehydrating. The server holds the truth, and the page just shows it. And it is not limited to one target. With an out-of-band swap, a single response can update 3 separate parts of the page at once. The list, the unread badge, and a toast, all from one request in one round trip. There is a lazy on-ramp too. Drop hxBoost on a link or a form, and HTMX quietly upgrades it to a background swap, so the page never fully reloads. Real progressive enhancement, with zero rewrite, and it degrades gracefully. Switch JavaScript off, and the links and forms still work as plain HTML. Search engines see real content, screen readers get real markup, and you did nothing extra to earn it. Put the same feature side by side. In React, it is a component, a piece of state, a fetch call, a JSON response, and a re-render. In HTMX, it is one attribute on one element. Identical result on screen, a fraction of the moving parts. And to be fair, HTMX is not delete all JavaScript. The team behind the receipts still wrote JavaScript for genuinely client-side bits. Giot's own line. He never makes a UX trade-off just to avoid JS. None of this is invented. It is an old web principle, hypermedia, hiding behind the ugly acronym HATEOAS, where the server's response tells the page what it can do next. Carson Gross dragged that idea into 2026 and made plain HTML able to do what only JavaScript used to, and it is not fringe. HTMX sits near 48,000 GitHub stars, shipping version 2 today, with version 4 already in beta. Real production apps are built on this, not just weekend demos. Time to be just as fair to React, because it is genuinely great at something HTMX is not. Its superpower is complex, live client state, a dozen things on screen that all change together and can never be allowed to drift apart even for a frame. You describe what the UI should be for a given state. You change the state, and React's virtual DOM computes the smallest set of edits to make the screen match. That problem is genuinely hard, and React nails it, and nothing touches its ecosystem. 246,000 stars, React Native for mobile, a pre-built component for almost everything, and millions of developers who already speak it. That gravity is the single strongest reason to reach for React, and it is not going away. And there is a real reason big teams pick React. That JSON API in the middle is a clean boundary. A front-end team and a back-end team can work against it independently, in parallel, without stepping on each other. But that power is not free. You pay in bundle size, in a build pipeline, and in a tooling treadmill that reinvents itself roughly every 18 months. Measure it. Just to boot the framework, React plus React DOM is about 45 kilobytes GISP before a single line of your code. HTMX is about 14. And the gap only widens as real dependencies pile on. There is a hidden tax too. A React page often renders on the server, ships JSON, then re-renders that JSON in the browser to become interactive. You build the page twice, and the user downloads both halves. That second half is why a heavy React app can feel sluggish on a phone. The screen paints, but nothing is clickable until megabytes of JavaScript finish parsing. HTMX has almost nothing to parse, so what you see is what you can tap. React does have answers to the wait. Code splitting ships less upfront, and frameworks like NextPush work back to the server. It is not standing still while people dunk on the bundle size. Now the receipts, and this is where the video earns its title. This is Contexte, a French media company with a paid B2B product and a React front end that had taken 2 full years and a dedicated team to build. One of their backend developers, David Guillot, was fed up. The front end was bulky and slow to change, and it was off limits to him because he wasn't a front end guy. The framework had literally split the team into castes, so he pushed back. He cloned the front end in Django and HTMX, not to ship it, just to find the wall where Hypermedia would fall apart on a real, sophisticated interface. It never really hit that wall. The prototype was convincing enough that the whole team committed and ported the entire product in about 2 months. Receipt 1. The codebase shrank 67%, 21,500 lines collapsed down to 7,200. 2/3 of the code they had been maintaining simply stopped existing. Receipt 2, and this one still makes me laugh. JavaScript dependencies fell 96%. 255 packages became 9. That is not just tidy, it is 246 fewer things to patch, audit, and pray don't get hijacked in the night. Receipt 3. Their web build dropped from 40 seconds to 5. 88% faster, and that is on every commit, every deploy, every day, for every developer, forever. That time compounds. Receipt 4. First load, the time until the page is actually usable, was cut by half or more, from 2 to 6 seconds down to 1 to 2. There was simply far less JavaScript for the phone to download, parse, and boot. Receipt 5. Memory use fell about 46%, from 75 megabytes to 45, and they could finally show large data sets that the old React version had simply choked on and refused to render. But the receipt nobody expects is not a number at all. The wall between front-end and back-end developers vanished. The whole team became full stack, each person owning a feature from the database to the button. That is a real org chart, redrawn by a library choice. And the users? They lost nothing. Same experience, same features, it just got lighter and faster. 2 years of React work, and the product was measurably better with it gone. Sit with that. This talk detonated. Carson Gross put it on the HTMX site. It hit the front page of Hacker News, and the Primogen reacted to it, dragging the whole debate to around 400,000 views. Okay, that sounds too clean, and a dishonest video ends right here on a victory lap. So let's go hunting for the catch, because there is one. Contexte is a content product, mostly reading, forms, and CRUD screens. That is the exact shape Hypermedia was designed for. Your app might be a completely different shape. And HTMX has a real cost of its own. Nearly every interaction is a trip to the server. On a flaky network, or when you want an instant, optimistic click, that round trip is a genuine weakness. It also moves the work. React renders on the user's device for free. HTMX renders on your servers, on every interaction. You trade a fat client bundle for more load on infrastructure you have to pay for. The tell comes from Guillot himself. When Contexte later needed a real-time collaborative editor, he did not reach for HTMX. He knew it was the wrong tool, and built that feature in Vue. That is the honest line. When your state lives on the client first, live collaboration, offline mode, a drawing canvas, a spreadsheet, a game. A real framework earns every kilobyte, and HTMX would fight you the whole way. When your state lives on the server, dashboards, admin panels, checkout, settings, content, most B2B SaaS, HTMX quietly wins, and a React bundle is dead weight you ship to every visitor on every page load. And it is not a binary. Alpine handles the tiny client-side flourishes HTMX skips. Vue and Svelte sit in between. The spectrum runs from plain HTML all the way to a full single-page app. Carson Gross even wrote the honest criteria himself in an essay called When to Use Hypermedia. If your UI needs live updates independent of the user, or heavy client-side state, he flat out tells you, reach for something else. And the classic objection, But I need a mobile app, so I need an API anyway, has a blunt answer. Build that one JSON endpoint inside the backend you already run. That is not a second front-end team and a whole parallel stack. Here is the twist nobody mentions. React itself is drifting back toward the server. React 19's server components render on the server and ship less JavaScript. Even React is admitting the server was underrated. So the question was never HTMX versus React. It is one question about your own app. Does my interface state genuinely live on the server or on the client? Answer that honestly and a lot of teams wins, because they picked React on reflex, following the crowd, for an app whose state sat quietly on the server the entire time. And no, it is not jQuery in a costume. jQuery had you imperatively grab elements and mutate the DOM by hand. HTMX is declarative. You describe the swap in markup and the engine does the work. So, is HTMX killing React? Not remotely. React is at 246,000 stars on version 19, running an enormous slice of the web, backed by Meta and a huge community. It is not going anywhere, and it should not. So here is the scorecard, honestly. Bundle size, build time, and raw simplicity go to HTMX. Rich interactivity, offline, and mobile native go to React. Ecosystem and hiring, still React. Cost to run and ship, HTMX. But HTMX forced a lot of us to admit something awkward. We grabbed the heavy tool out of pure habit. Match the tool to where your state lives, and decided on receipts, not on vibes. That is the honest verdict. No hype, no hate, just the receipts. If this changed your mind even slightly, subscribe. The next teardown goes exactly this deep.